Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. I think we have about 14 participants here, and so we can actually go ahead and start this meeting. We are going to actually dive straight away into the world of remote working because it's a landscape which actually allows you to meet opportunities. And if you are flexible enough, you would grab hold of those opportunities that are there. And so thank you, wherever you may be joining from, either if you're in your dorms, your home, or in the chop bar, wherever you are around the globe. Thank you for joining in. And so we'll get right straight into it. Today's topic is going to be about essential tools for successful remote work. This is quite passionate to me because it's a space that allows you, or is an opportunity that allows you to put in your maximum best wherever you are in the world. And it also, I mean, as we go along the presentation, you will come to understand why it requires a level of discipline, and it also requires a measure of time management in order to be able to be successful in remote working. How do I get to the next slide? Okay, so my name is Sylvia Fafali Oru, and I'm a chemist. I'm an entrepreneur. I also train people on things regarding to skincare, cleaning agent, and also how to manage your business. I'm an SMS business coach and a mentor as well. Currently, I am working with CTV Ghana in building their beauty product manufacturing curriculum. And that is for National Certificate 1, National Certificate 2, and then the HND, which is the Higher National Diploma here in Ghana. And I have also worked remotely for businesses in Sierra Leone, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, Liberia, US, and then the UK. So these are going to be some of our key takeaways. We're going to look at general misconceptions of remote work, essential tools you need for remote working, positioning yourself to succeed in remote working. So that is where we're going to delve more into time management, communication skills, and IT or tech skills, if you like, and also gadgets you could use to maximize productivity in working remotely, and then also general tips on remote working. So we'll dive onto the misconception about working remotely. So these are some of the issues we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about remote workers are less productive is one of the misconceptions out there, and I beg to differ because even though they work remotely, doesn't mean you have to be there 24 hours or 7 days a week. But however, you need to set aside schedules, you need to have some kind of boundaries, and boundaries around you, set around you, in order to be able to work and to be productive on the other, because you find yourself in some form of comfort zone. But if you take it for granted, you may end up being unproductive, which you want to run away from more or less, or to be cautious about, because it may not speak well to your remote employer. All right. And it's very important to address some of these misconceptions in remote working in order to have a balanced view of what remote work is all about. And this should actually encourage us to avail ourselves and not to look down on some of these opportunities. And some people say that remote work is easy and is relaxing. While remote work can offer some measure of flexibility, it requires a lot of discipline, time management, and effective communication skills, right? It can be just as demanding as our normal in-person workplace working sessions in person at the offices. Also, people have the misconception that remote work does not require much skills. As a matter of fact, that is not true, because in order for you to even land a remote job, you need to have added on to your profession in terms of how to navigate some applications that tend to help you to work remotely. We will talk about some of those skills you will need to actually develop if you want to venture into the remote world space. And also, people also talk about the fact that remote work is just mainly jobs in the tech fields. And I beg to differ, because there are a lot of job opportunities in customer care, human resource, education. Even there's a lot of buzz now in the healthcare space as well. In fact, there's a lot of opportunity for remote work in various sectors. I will talk more about the areas where we are likely to get remote work opportunities as African applicants later on in the presentation. And so also people talk about the fact that remote work is less secure than office work. I beg to differ, because if we're talking about security, there are a lot of, when I mean security, they're talking about data safety and all of that, your information going out because it's online and you don't know probably what spyware or virus or other kind of application that may be leaking into your system. Because I'd say this is a strong misconception, because the companies, the industries that are going online have to put in adequate measures to make sure that their employees are secured safely with their data and the tools they are working with. So it is very secured working remotely, as well as also working online too. There's a measure of security that has been placed there as well. So please, we should not actually look at it in that light at all. So we want to delve down now into essential tools for success remote works. We are going to look at, there are lots of tools out there, but there are two I would actually like to focus on for essential tools. So now how we come to know about the misconception, we'll talk about two major skills. Like I said, it's going to be on time management, and then there's going to be one on communication skills. So we'll go straight into the time management skill as an essential tool for successful remote work. So time management is very, very important to work remotely. It actually allows you to be self-disciplined and to be time conscious. Why I say this is because working remotely allows you working on different time zones. If you're fortunate to get companies that allows that or allows African applicants. So you get to realize that you are going to be working from different time zones and you still need to successfully deliver. So why should we take time management skills very important? So if you look on your screen, we're going to look at 7 areas which we need to actually improve on in order to make sure we manage our time wisely. We're looking at task prioritization and then goal setting. If I tell you what, if you do not set achievable goals which are clear, you will not be able to maintain focus and you would not stay motivational. Because sometimes remote work can be a bit daunting. So you need to actually set the goals for the week in order to be able to know what you can achieve and what not to achieve. So you also need to identify important tasks first so that you clear that out of the way to take care of probably the lesser ones at the end of the day. Or sometimes it's the reverse. You take care of the smaller assignments, and then once you know that is clear, then you can put the heavier assignments at the far back. You need to time block. What I mean by time blocking is to allocate specific blocks of time to focus on doing certain tasks. And that is important because it's important for remote working, because most often than not, you may be working as a team, or is normally project works, and you are working as a team. You need to set aside time to be able to accomplish certain tasks for another team member to continue that work from, and also accomplish his own part as well. Please, when working remotely, we need to set aside break time. Break time in order not to get burned out. And when you get burned out, you are not able to function properly at all. You need to set break time in order to maintain productivity, and also to also save yourself health-wise. We need to also track our working hours, reflecting and adjusting as and when you need, in order to improve on your work as a remote worker. And you need to limit multitasking. People have the tendency to do many things at one time, but sometimes, research has shown that when you do too many things at one time, you end up using more time. You end up using more time to cover these activities. But if you actually set aside a time like task prioritization we talked about in the beginning, if you're able to prioritize time for a particular task, you finish it and then you move on to the next, is much more productive, and then you end up using less time when the times are accumulated. You need to also set boundaries so that you also have your you time or my me time, and to create a work-life balance. Delegating tasks is also one last point I would like to talk about. And I want to talk about this because sometimes, in order to prove a point that, okay, we are capable, we want to prove to our remote employer that we can do a lot, or they can actually rely on us, you tend to do a lot more work, which is not really assigned to you, because you feel probably you may have done yours, and so you can actually do some other. But it's very important to delegate tasks. Look, what is not yours is not yours. Most of the time we work as a team, and you need to just give who has to do X amount of work to that person, and then you doing Y amount of work to yourself, because you may, in most cases, you end up not even completing this task at the given time. So please feel free to always delegate your tasks. Those are the key ways you can actually manage your time. Okay, so moving forward, I would like us to reflect on what we just learned. I don't know if there is any clarification anybody needs at this time. If you are clear on it, probably you can send me a thumbs up so that I know that we are actually following. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, there's something in the chat. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so moving down, oh boy, how do I go to the next? Okay, so we are now going to look at efficient communication skills, and we'll be looking at, okay, fine, let me go back to this slide. Okay, when I talk about efficient communication skills, communication, as we all know, it is a way we communicate to people for them to understand us, to be able to trust our potential, especially when it comes to delivering. We have to communicate how good we are. Fine, when I talk about efficient communication skills, I'm not talking about communication skill as a yardstick to grade or to measure our intellectual ability of some sort. No, it's important to have good communication skills or efficient communication skills in order to work remotely. And for me, I believe that one way we can actually communicate ourselves well is in our profiles. It's having a very strong profile. And sometimes you may not even need to say so much about yourself, but sometimes your profile carries a lot more weight. Your profile has a way of actually defending you as a person and even telling people about your level of potentials. And so one of the key areas which I actually find very, 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 very interesting is, especially if you want to work remotely and be successful, is to have one of the tools you need to have is to have a LinkedIn page. And everybody has, I mean, everybody is now getting on the wagon as to creating a LinkedIn profile. It's a more professional platform out there where people can actually reach out for opportunities. Yes, very much so. But how strong is your profile? Is your profile strong enough telling the world as to exactly who you are without having them to call you? Can somebody just look at your profile and say, okay, this person is saying a lot about themselves, and so I should be able to work with them or probably invite them for an interview? So we want to look at LinkedIn as an essential tool for remote work. Now, when I go into LinkedIn, there are just key areas which I like to focus more on. We're looking at our profile. Does our profile probably have all that we've achieved so far? Does it give a story about where we are? Or I'm sorry, where we are coming from, where we are, and where we intend to go? That's one thing you need to put there, because remote employers like to know the minds of their prospective applicants, and to know how they think, what they've been through, what they've been able to achieve in the past, and what they intend to achieve in the future. So we are looking at highlighting our unique skills, skills that talk about, for instance, somebody can have a mastery on other applications. Like, let's say probably the person is a secretary, but the person has a mastery on using a software such as Canva. Do we highlight it there, or we think, oh, it's really nothing? There are things that we feel that we don't really need to highlight on our profile, but it's really, really important that we actually add them there. I find we need to be shrewd as to exactly what we add, but it's also important that we add those things, especially the unique skills we have. Our work history is important. Even if it's just 2 weeks we've worked with a company, with an establishment, we need to write it there that we were present there and this was what we had to deliver. We don't brush it outside. There's something we call continuous professional development. Unfortunately, my slide is not, it's not showing all the information out here, but I could always share that with you. There's something we call continuous professional development. These actually are little initiatives you take upon yourself to learn new things, which is apart from your main profession. For instance, I, as a chemist, I have learned a lot of things on cybersecurity. I've learned a number of things on data analytics. What stopped me from upgrading, putting that on my LinkedIn page as a continuous professional development? What stops me? Because I'm sure we have all attended some form of 2-day seminar, 3-day seminar, where we've learned probably is tackling a particular subject. That's continuous professional development. What stops you from actually adding that? Sometimes they even give you a certificate. You just put it to one side, but you actually need to use that to update your profile. This speaks well about you. That means you're not just interested in the area, in your field area where you find yourself, but you're moving with changing times. You're moving with the trends, and you try to keep yourself updated when it comes to being knowledgeable. And also, one other aspect I would like to also talk about is that we need to also update our educational accomplishments. And then please, in order to use LinkedIn as an essential tool for successful remote work, we need to also make sure that we are able to post. And even if we do not get the time to make certain posts, we need to like, share, and engage with posts that actually speak to us. And please do not hesitate to reach out to people that you feel are beneficial to you. You need to connect with them and then tag them along the way as you go. There you just get to draw their attention that you are there, and then probably you would need to engage with them of one way or the other. In order to work successfully as a remote employer, there are a few things you need to actually have, which most of us already have, but there are areas we need to work on. Okay. We are looking at the fact that as somebody that wants to work remotely and to be successful at that too, we need to have gadgets, okay? Gadgets that find you performing efficiently in the space you find yourself in. So probably the basic gadgets we know are to probably have your laptop, making sure that your microphones, your camera is fully functional, and your speakers are also fully functional, making sure you also have stable Wi-Fi, and you also have a working area that that is a bit puts you in an office mood, not probably in a couch and then you just slouching. No, please. And also, please, you also need to work on acquiring stable power or having a backup. I had a glitch earlier on, but unfortunately, I thought my laptop was charged at the back. I had power though, but I didn't know that I hadn't plugged the charger at the back, and so I had used the battery on my laptop. So we actually need to make sure we have some form of backup in order to be able to achieve that. Now, I want to talk about some of the skill sets you need, some of the skill sets, apart from talking about the other ones which I just talked about, time management, having a strong LinkedIn profile or strong LinkedIn presence. There are also other skills we need to work around with now, depending on the sector you find yourself in. There are certain skill sets you need to acquire in order to be able to perform excellently as a remote worker. So, of course, obviously, you need your communication skills. Also, you need for instance, if we are looking at technical skills as an example, if you're going to work as a customer support, then that means you need to have a sense of time management. You need to have customer care skills. You need to have you need to have some kind of customer support skills. And sometimes and the reason why I say this is because sometimes you find yourself in a setting where you're like, okay, do I really need customer service skills? But in hindsight, you're going to be meeting a lot of people. You're going to be engaging with a lot of people. So what stops you from probably taking a course on customer service? Allison, I don't know if you know about a website called Allison. Allison is there to actually, I will put in some of this information in the chat box, please. Allison can actually help you improve on your continuous development, continuous professional development, where you're able to learn short courses within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you improve yourself as a candidate, as a successful candidate for remote employing. We are looking at designing. If you're a designer and you find yourself in a space where you're going to be designing a lot, probably you need to make sure you have you're proficient in Photoshop, CorelDRAW, or all of those soft applications that enables you perform well as a graphic artist or a designer. If you want to be a content creator, then that means you have to have a measure of good communication skills. I mean, and written for that matter, not just verbal, but written. People are able to speak well, but sometimes they find it difficult to write well. So you need to have a balance if you're going to be a content creator. And then if you're going into probably areas where it's more techy, then probably you need to make sure you have a measure of programming skills, probably coding. You want to also improve on or learn something new about data analytics and stuff like that as a marketing support, as a remote marketing support officer. Then that means you have to be well-versed in digital marketing and then customer experience design and all of that. So we also have other professional fields. Professional fields come with its own professional skills. Of course, as a chemist, if I want to work as a researcher, I know I need to up my game as a chemist. And if I'm an architect and I want to be doing design, of course, I need to know my architectural skills, right? So those are areas we need to those are necessary skill sets we need to work successfully remotely. And moving on, there are a number of platforms out there, please, which we can actually apply to work remotely. But it's not for all, it's not for Africa, not all of them are meant for African applicants. And so we are going to actually look at some of these platforms and see how best we can maximize their usage. I just want to draw your attention to the fact that going back to the misconceptions I mentioned earlier, you have the misconception that remote work is just for people in the IT or tech space, which is far from true, because like I said, there are opportunities available in the healthcare, in the sciences, which I find myself in and of which I've worked on some jobs remotely. And there's even someone used on human research. And in as much as some of these jobs are available, they are quite, okay, to us, we may feel they are not available to us. And that is because some of these companies that employ, that put out these remote job advertisements are requiring applicants from other countries. So to us, we feel that, okay, what I only see is jobs in the tech space, but there are other professional sectors which are advertised, but they are not eligible to African applicants, unfortunately. But hopefully, we may get the chance to have some of these companies calling us on board. For instance, there's okay, well, we are going to delve into that later. Okay, so below are actually websites which we can confidently get remote employment from as African. For instance, now as a writer, I also write sometimes, and I went to a website. It's called N-Dash. N-Dash, for instance, is for writing, for writers. But guess what? Ghana, as a Ghanaian, you are not a eligible candidate for them. So remote okay. We work remotely beyond the savannah, flex jobs, job together, Remotive, Jobpresso, remote.com. All of these are actually websites where we can find remote work to apply for, and then hopefully we will be called. Now there are a lot of information going out there. Social media is a good place and is a bad place as well. Because it's very painful, for instance, to start signing up for a program only for you to come to a realization that you're not a viable candidate, or you're not eligible. So one of the general tips, I think we've come, okay. So one of the general tips, which I always tell people Unfortunately, he's not here. Okay. Some of the general tips I always like to share with people is that please do not hesitate to go to these websites, frequently ask questions, FAQs, to inquire or to read for yourself to see if your country falls within that eligibility. Because it's painful for you to sign up, set up a good profile, only for you to come to the realization that your country is not bad. Now, social media, there are a lot of people on TikTok that tell you, okay, these are the sites you can make money from, but a lot of them just want you to like their page and then watch their videos multiple times, because some of them are misleading, very, very, very misleading. And also, one of the things I also wanted to draw your attention is to the fact that it's okay, it's very, very okay to reach out to probably an employer. If you know you find yourself in a situation where you have to work remotely, you can actually apply for an in-person job. You probably talk to them and ask them if they would allow you work remotely. There are a lot of remote jobs here in Ghana as well. Ask them if they would like you to work remotely. You never know. Although before you actually make such a request, you must have some kind of skill set that is hard to come by, or you are proficient in, or very, very, very good at. So there's nothing wrong in actually reaching out and then asking them to suggest working remotely. There's something I wanted to share with you, which is not on here right now. So I just want to go back to my notes. And also, one other point I actually wanted to also draw your attention to is to the fact that when there are a lot of opportunities for us as African applicants to work remotely, but then some of these companies also know sometimes some situations or challenges we face as Africans or in our countries. For instance, now there are some countries in Eastern Africa that suffer from a lot of power cut. Here in Ghana, it's controllable. But then if you find yourself in a situation like that, please let them know that you are prepared for this job, you're ready to do the job. But although you have power problems, you already have a backup plan, you already have a backup system which would help you to work productively. It's okay to always let them know that this is the challenge you face, but please, you will be able to fulfill. And also, I've already talked about the frequently asked questions. And it's maybe in the list of websites I didn't post up there, if you find yourself in another site, please always look out for opportunities that clearly states that steady states anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world indicates, tells you that you can be a Ghanaian applicant and then you can work. So try to look out for that also. I think those are the tips I would like to highlight on. There are lots of things we can actually talk about, but we may not have all the time to discuss most of these things here. If you have any questions, anything to ask, please feel free. I'll leave my information and we could always talk on there, probably whatever challenges you may have and all of that. And one other thing I would also like to draw your attention to is understanding the time zones. You need to understand the time zones so that you seek employment within your time zone area and not in other time zones. So I would actually like to share that piece of information with you here, because that is the last bit I have here. We have many time zones. We have the worldwide or global time zone. Sometimes in some of these remote jobs, they write the time zones they need applicants to work from. There's worldwide. There is also Europe, Middle East, and Africa, which is EMEA. We also have the Americas. The Americas have US, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Cuba. That is the Americas. We also have the APAC, which is Asian Pacific. I said Asia Pacific, that is where you have countries like India, and also there is also LATAM. LATAM is South America. There you have Chile, you have Chile, Colombia. You also have Venezuela over there as well. So those are the time zones you also need to look out for when you are applying for remote work. And yeah, so these are the informations I have for you today on essential tools you will need to work successfully as a remote worker. Please feel free to take a screenshot of this because there are a lot of opportunities out there. Like I said, I'll be leaving my information. Okay, so here is my information. We could always communicate on WhatsApp if you have information and if you have questions or you need some form of clarity. And also there are other opportunities we offer, which I think I didn't mention at the back here, how we can help you, or something like I needed to have mentioned how we can help you. We help you, yeah, how we can help. We actually help in helping to optimize your LinkedIn page. We also help with training. We also help with coaching. So please feel free to reach out to us, and I believe we'll be able to take it up from there and make some good use. Yes, thank you so much for paying attention. Please, we can interact. If there is any questions, you can. Oh, okay, I'm just saying to amplify my voice. Please, were you able to help me hear me, Joycelyn, please? I didn't hear that. Yes, please, can we get the links to get remote jobs for Africans? Yes, please, you can. If you, let me go back to, hold on, please. Let me quickly go back to that page. So on here, what I would like you to do is that when you visit, even be Beyond the Savannah presented a wonderful platform, and at least that is from and so you wouldn't be found help out a lot in your career to work remotely. We work remotely also offers a lot of job opportunities for African applicants. So please go through all of these. If you're facing any challenge, please reach out to us. Would actually help you in your quest to find a remote job. Awesome presentation. Thank you very much. I'm going back. Let me see. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. My WhatsApp number. Okay, let me place that on the I can type that for you. You could also reach me on WhatsApp here on this number. You can also reach me here on WhatsApp on this number. Yes, there are lots of sites you can access. So now the thing about working remotely or sometimes clinching in on the remote jobs is that sometimes you may not find your skill, your sector, or probably areas you find yourself particularly proficient in, or you're a professional in. So it takes a lot of search, or it takes a lot of weight, but you in the tech space, but So you learn a thing or two pertaining to the areas that are widely, where you have a lot of demand for. You could also do that. App. I saw you are allowed to speak. If you can speak, yes. Yes. Okay, thank you very, very much. I think we still have about 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. So if that will be all, is it okay to probably end the webinar now?
Hello.
Okay, so hello.
Yes, so we are still taking questions. If there aren't any question, then we can just go ahead and then end the webinar.
Okay. So thank you so much for coming, for staying with us till now, and sorry for the hitch earlier on. I am grateful for this opportunity, and I hope to interact with all of you.
Yes, so I just want to say that for those of you asking for remote job platforms for Africans, there's an ongoing session covering how to know where to find remote project jobs. And it's ongoing with Esther. So please tune in that session, and she's sharing some opportunities platforms that I know will be beneficial to you all.
Awesome. Please do so. Okay. So thank you. So is Esther's own ending at 11?
Yes, there's a question for you. I'd like you to address that before we go. So it says that right now I am undertaking ALX program for virtual assistants. Where can I get short course for free?
Okay, good. Okay, so there are lots of short courses at Allison. Allison.com allows you the chance to learn a host of programs where you can use to improve on your programming skills. So please try to visit Allison.com, and you should be able to get some courses there. Very, very short courses, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. I don't know if that helps, please. There's a new message. Alan, I don't know if I was able to address your question. Okay, so what we'll do is that, please, Alan, you have the contact there. Please reach out to me if you're still having difficulties. Okay, I'm sorry, but the number is not on WhatsApp. It is actually on WhatsApp. Okay, it is actually on WhatsApp. Okay, so Isaac, I think probably I could end it so that they could quickly join into Esther's before it ends.
Yes, so I think if there's no other question, we'll just bring the session to a close. Thank you very much, Sylvia.
Okay, thank you. Nikwete also says that my.isc2.org is also good for online short courses. So please, Alan, take note of this. Take note of that, please. Take note of that. Thank you, Ni. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.